All right, hey, this is Bill with CCW USA. I'm here with Joe Drammissi. We're here on behalf of San Diego County gun owners and Gun Owners Radio. We want to give you some tactical tips for CCW.
So we're going to start out today with holsters. And holsters are a big deal if you're new to concealed carry. You've probably heard a lot of people say that you're going to accumulate a box full of holsters, which is true. And I brought some of mine. This is just a small portion of my box of holsters. And the reason you do that is you tend to go through an evolutionary thing. For instance, I started out with this one down here is an Alien Gear holster, and really nice holsters. It's really comfortable, kind of a synthetic material with the Kydex outside. The other thing that happens is you end up starting with a very small gun. So since I like Glocks, I started with the Glock 26. So you see this in the Glock 26 holster. As you get more used to things and your concealed carry stuff evolves, you start to think about other things. So I started with the Alien Gear, then I moved up to a kind of a hybrid holster, which you see has a kind of a leather backing, still has the Kydex part for the gun, and again for the Glock 26. So I kind of evolved to this one. Then after a while, getting more used to it, because you start with a very tiny gun usually because you're worried everybody's going to see it, or you're going to be printing this, that. And you start with a small gun, and then after a while you get used to it and you're thinking, I don't really need a small gun, something bigger would be better. So in my case, bigger was a Glock 19, so I moved up to this one. The other thing that happened in my evolution was I went from inside the waistband to outside the waistband, and I discovered leather. So you can get a little bit more, because you know, a big part of the hobby, it's not just a gun, a lot of this is other stuff. So leather holsters are fun, they're nice, they're really comfortable, especially outside the waistband. So these are from Right Leather Works. I've got two. I've got this one here and this other brown one, the same style holster. And again, for the Glock 19. So I'll typically go with those. This is another one that I'd gotten also from Simply Rugged, which is another great holster maker with good leather holsters. So these are where I started with. Then you get a little more fancy now because, again, you get into the other part of it. So I have my, my barbecue rig, kind of. So this is also from Simply Rugged with a nice rattlesnake inlay here. Also with the magazine pouch. Same thing. And I use this for my 1911. Because if you take classes, say, out at Gunsight, everybody's a 1911 guy and you have to get one. So I had to get a 1911. So I have this Simply Rugged holster. Also from Simply Rugged, this one down here is just another version of one of the kind holsters that they make. This is for a Ruger GP100, which I did not bring with me. So I've kind of migrated. So nowadays, mostly what I'll use is a an inside the waistband holster, pretty similar to this one, but it's made by Black Arches, which I probably should have taken out here. But I use that when I'm dressed this way. Other times I'll have a sport coat on or something like that, or a cover garment. I'll tend to go with the outside the waistband Right Leather Works holsters. So that's how I've kind of evolved to now. And then Bill.
Yeah, so it is kind of an evolution, picking different holsters, and I've been through all kinds of Galco holsters, leather holsters. Back in the old days, back in the 1900s, it was really important that your leather holster matched your boots. Not as important to me anymore. So for Joe, it's important. He's a cowboy. I typically go with what's practical, what works for me, and since one of my first carry guns was a Glock 19, or actually Glock 23, and then I switched to the Glock 19, one of my favorite holsters is Off the Grid Concepts, and this is one of my first holsters, Off the Grid Concepts, inside the waistband. I think it's called the MK1 or MKI. Fantastic holster, single clip, but really good retention, really strong clip. And I have a thing about consistency. I like things to be kind of consistent when it comes to shooting. So my other holsters are the same holster from the same company. My other guns, if I'm using a Smith & Wesson Shield, wrong holster, same holster, same features, high sweat shield. It may have a little bit of camo to it, not that that means anything. Some of these I got because I think the camo ones, my son got them for me. Because he liked them, then he didn't like them anymore. But that's kind of how holsters go. You're going to kind of get the feel for it, see how it works for you, see how it fits. And I'll tell you, one of the best things you can test with your holster is try it on with the gun, unloaded, no ammunition, and just go about your day in the house. Walk around the house, sit down, stand up, kneel, bend down, do different activities, and if it's poking you uncomfortably, you might get used to that, but you might not. It's kind of like wearing a watch. If it's not uncomfortable, you might be fine. If it is uncomfortable, that might not be the best fit for you. And unfortunately, even with the best efforts, even when I tell you just go with my holster because it's awesome, it may not work for you. Everybody's different body types. We have different carry positions, appendix, strong side hip, back waistband, all different types of sizes of people, sizes of holsters, and sizes of guns. So think about what's going to work best for you. Joe's kind of converted to inside the waistband concealment because it's better for concealment. It's also consistent. Your gun's in the same place, so you know where to go get it when it's time to get it, especially if you need to get it in a hurry. Anything you want to add on?
So again, now, and well, like I was saying, most of the time, if I have to dress the way I'm dressed now, I'm carrying inside the waistband. A lot of times, for things I do, I've got a sport coat on, or if I'm just running around town, I'm typically in jeans and a t-shirt with a kind of a cover shirt. You know, if it's in the wintertime, the cover shirt's kind of a flannel shirt. If it's warmer out, it's a lighter shirt. But again, I could, you know, that's fine for me, and I dress that way. So that that kind of influences what I'm carrying or how I'm carrying. So it's either going to be this outside the waistband holster, the leather one, or it's the same inside the waistband holster. Like Bill was saying, consistency is important. So you want to be able to be drawing from the same thing. You don't want to be doing 5 different kinds of holsters necessarily. When I carry, it's either one or the other, so I get real used to that kind of stuff.
Yep, I'll just throw in one other thing I'll just throw in there. If I'm using one of these holsters, it's real easy to clip on to your belt. Clip it on there, make sure it's locked in, and it conceals pretty well. So it's I do wear a large shirt instead of a medium, and it conceals pretty well. You just got to be careful you don't do any of this stuff where it's getting caught up or your shirt is getting caught on it. You may have to look in the mirror and take a look at where it's at. One thing I'll tell you about giving away tips that you're carrying, the biggest tell is not printing, it's checking your gun. If you're constantly checking your gun, checking your waistband for your holster, constantly fiddling with your clothing, that's going to give it away to other CCW people, criminals, and law enforcement that you might have a gun on if you keep checking it. So try to do a minimal of checking, maybe in the bathroom before you leave, maybe before you go out in public, or before you get out of the car. That's about it for me.
I think that's great. A great intro to holsters.